Let's imagine that you, hypothetically, want to learn about harmony. So you find a textbook and begin reading. You probably see lots of this, and these, and that. Notation. And this makes sense. We can't store sound itself in a piece of paper, except for... So we came up with a system of representing it. And this invention is so useful that it has become inseparably linked with how many of us learn music. But this notational system was designed for performance and sight reading, for playing chords, but not for studying them. I'm Polychoron Productions, and this is a better way to visualize harmony. So let's talk about music notation. As mentioned, it represents music, so at the very least, it must communicate a relationship between the two main components of music, pitch and time. This kind of notation, something you probably use often, is designed for readability. Both pitch and time have very clear guidelines, and rhythm is governed by a very specific and logical set of rules. But these pragmatic properties come at the expense of representing harmony intuitively. Most people can't just immediately feel a chord by looking at it, at least not without years of practice. So, is it possible to give people this ability? Well, there's 4 minutes left in the video, so... Since the building block of harmony is pitch, we need a better way to represent pitch than just this. To narrow the search, it's worth setting a few criteria to make sure that we represent pitch properly. First, our choice must be continuous, meaning that it's perceived on a spectrum instead of as a discrete set of levels. It must also repeat after some point. For me, the first thing that comes to mind is color. Color and pitch work in very similar ways. One could say that color is the pitch of the eyes. This is likely because both sight and hearing are ways that our brain makes sense of naturally occurring frequencies. Specifically, pitch is the frequency at which air around our ear vibrates, and color is the frequency of an incoming photon that hits your retina. If we really wanted to devolve into rampant speculation, a popular pastime for this channel, we could even draw parallels between color theory and music theory. For example, a chord being made up of notes is essentially the same phenomenon of colors being grouped into color palettes, and connections can even be drawn between specific chords and palettes. In fact, the link between color and pitch is so natural that we already describe harmony in terms of color, shown by phrases like adding color to a chord. So, we want to express harmony in terms of color. Distinct chords should have distinct looks, so notes close together harmonically should be close in color as well. An obvious approach is to pair pitches and colors in order, making C red, C sharp red orange, and so on. Now, with the power of coding, we can see what this looks like in a MIDI visualizer. For the piece, I've picked Debussy's Clair de Lune since it has excellent harmonic contrast. If we've done our job right, it should be visually obvious when the harmony of the piece shifts. Cool rectangles? Sure, but no harmony enhancer. So what did we do wrong? When we paired up the notes and colors, we ignored the fact that notes that are close together in pitch aren't necessarily close together in harmony. This is because the perceived difference in pitch depends on the absolute difference between two frequencies, whereas harmonic distance is determined by how simple a ratio between two frequencies is. So if mapping the color wheel to the chromatic circle doesn't work, is there another way that we can order notes such that adjacent notes are harmonically close? It turns out that there is, and it's none other than the thing that makes this channel, and all of its clickbait, possible, the circle of fifths. If we color notes this way, notes that are harmonically close together will also be close in color. One little tweak to the code, and we can take a look. This time, it's more clear. The colors change with the harmony. Perceptive viewers may also notice that chords with a lot of tension are composed of many different colors, while more harmonious chords are not. For example, this sus2 chord does not hold much tension, and indeed, its visual counterpart is a purplish clump. On the other hand, this much more tension-filled diminished seventh chord is also much more colorful. It's easy to get excited when you come across a new way of looking at something, both figuratively and, in this case, literally. But it's important to keep in mind that any single method will only emphasize a single attribute, with the necessary exclusion of others. This method of visualizing music maximizes the understanding of harmony, but at the expense of rhythmic precision and even pitch precision. Like seriously, imagine trying to sight read that. That being said, I hope that this visualization technique convinces you of the power of viewing abstract things, like harmony, from a different perspective. A lot of understanding can be gained by taking information in one form and transforming it into another, both inside and outside of music theory.